Good evening, it's Brother Rob Wilson. Don't forget, if you're tuning in for the first time, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the like, share in your social media, and don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. Set your notifications so you get reminders of upcoming content. I am a veteran, 10 years in the United States military. We swore, when you go in the military, you swear, you make a pledge to defend this United States of America and its Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We know what the chain of command means. We know what it means to break the chain of command. I was a little concerned about what has now come to pass, but it's come to pass. I think most veterans can see the debacle that took place in Afghanistan and feel a tremendous sense of betrayal and a tremendous sense of disconnect between the top and the brass and the career politicians in Washington and the people who make the rubber meet the road out there on the field, out there on the battlefield, out there on the deck plates. There's a total disconnect. They don't know what's going on. And we have to really ask ourselves, how serious are we? Is our national security right now, and how serious are the charges against those career politicians, those incompetents, and those who remain silent because of fear, because of cowardice, because of yellow-belliedness, cowardice, that they would not speak up when they knew better. Because if they didn't know better, they never should have been in these positions. Check this out.
To ask General Milley, General McKenzie, and Secretary of Defense Austin today, but this perhaps is the most disturbing. You remember the courage it took for Lieutenant Colonel Stu Sheller to get up and put on camera or on his iPhone that he's resigning. He couldn't be more embarrassed.
He was so close to retirement, too.
He was so close to it. He couldn't be more embarrassed by the lack of integrity that we showed with the withdrawal of Afghanistan. He says, that's it, I'm done. As a Marine, I can't do this anymore. I'm walking away from my retirement. Now we find out that he's been put in the brig until he could have his hearing. Excuse me?
Incarcerated. The hearing's supposed to be on Thursday. Just in case you don't remember that video that he posted on Facebook and LinkedIn, here's a flashback.
And I'm not saying we've got to be in Afghanistan forever, but I am saying, did any of you throw your rank on the table and say, hey, it's a bad idea to evacuate Bagram Airfield, the strategic air base, before we evacuate everyone? I have been fighting for 17 years.
Did you put it on the line to tell them what the right thing to do was? Did you put it all on the line? Or were you just sitting there as a career politician and a yes man to this administration because you swore an oath when you entered the military service, generals, okay? You swore an oath to the American people, to the country, and to the Constitution to defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Are you a domestic enemy? Have you broken your oath to this nation, to its citizens, and to the troops who fought and bled and died for this country? Not only to them, but to our allies who helped us in the last 20 years? How much have you jeopardized national security?
I am willing to throw it all away to say to my senior leaders, I demand accountability.
Right, and that is his point. After he posted that, and we talked about it, it's like, look at what this guy said. His supervisors said, you've got to stop doing that. He kept doing it, and then he ignored them, and then, as you know, resigned. And he posted about this gag order they put him under, and that's what got him in trouble. Define the gag order. He's in the brig, currently in pretrial confinement. What he's asking, though, for, as we heard there at the very end, and that is the same accountability that he is expected of him and his men from the people at top.
His father said, all our son did is ask the questions that everybody was asking themselves, but they were too scared to speak out loud. He was asking for accountability. In fact, I think he even asked for an apology, that we made mistakes, But they couldn't do that, which is mind-blowing. They had a gag order on him and asked him not to speak. He did, and they incarcerated him. They don't know what to do with him.
Now, this is a...
You know what? This is just exactly what's wrong with this administration. This is just exactly what's wrong. Now, in the military, you do have a responsibility to obey the chain of command and not speak outside of the chain of command. However, at certain places, you are required by oath to disobey direct orders. And he didn't disobey direct orders. He just spoke and called the leadership on the carpet for accountability. And I think we are all responsible as American citizens to call for accountability and leadership. Our cities, our schools, our workplaces, our border is in crisis. And this man is sitting in the brig while they are off in vacation land, in Never Never Land. General Milley's out there reading about white rage and having diversity training while the Taliban is invading now this country. And while they're persecuting and murdering and dismembering people. I mean, the news has come out that they're now back to dismembering people. One of the newscasters who was trying to report on human rights violations, they cut off his ears and his nose. Okay, this is a sign that he should keep his ears out of stuff and keep his nose out of their business. That's what that means. Okay, they're doing this, and these are the allies of this administration. Everybody knows you can't bargain with these people. You can't trust these people. These people are the people who attacked us on 9/11. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it.
And a brain trust that just droned and killed 10 innocent people, including 7 children. This is a brain trust that allowed our perimeter to be guarded by our arch enemy, the Taliban, which resulted in one attack that killed 13 and wounded 20. This is the brain trust that left $85 billion worth of hardware in a country that's hostile. Last weekend, Iranians were buying Black Hawks in Kabul of ours, and you believe...
Whew, I'm telling you, if there's anybody out there who has an ounce of love for our fellow American people, for our patriots, for our veterans, it's outrageous. Iran buying our helicopters.
This lieutenant colonel deserved to be jailed in lieu of a pretrial hearing. He is the least of your problems. They should be putting themselves in front of court and embarrassing themselves as they embarrass their uniform.
And Brian, now look what the Taliban's doing. They have said we are going back to killings and to amputations. They cut off a guy's nose and his ears. He was a farmer. Then the reporters, you remember those images of the reporters that were whipped, and they showed the back of them, their legs and their backs, black and blue, because they were reporting on women's rights. They are killing moms and dads and children. Lara Logan was on yesterday talking about those reports that children are even dying there. And this is because the U.S. government pulled out and allowed the Taliban to take over.
So it's okay to talk to Bob Woodward, General Milley, and expose all the behind-the-scenes doings during the Trump administration and perhaps the Biden years, where you made it clear to Bob Woodward, but not to us, that you were against pulling out. You were against giving up Bagram Air Base. You recommended 4,000. You told Bob Woodward that. But we got to see you in action, leave everybody behind and pull our military out first. So it's okay for you to talk to Bob Woodward, but it's not okay for a lieutenant colonel to put up his iPhone and address the American people and talk about how we did not live up to what he thought was the Marine Code.
So you're going to see them today in front of the Senate Armed Services Committee, tomorrow in front of the House Armed Services Committee. In D.C., what they're looking for is if the general takes the bait from Republicans and gets defensive and gets angry, that's not going to be good for the general. And of course, you're going to see highlights at the end of today right here on Fox.
Please go ahead and subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell for reminders. I am livid. Everyone should be livid right now. This is total incompetence. This is totally jeopardizing national security on every front and at every level. This administration is too weak. It is too waffling. It could not put up a front against a fly. They've lost all credibility. And people valiantly fought and died on a war on terror over 20 years, and your efforts were not in vain. But we've always felt this. Veterans have always known this, that there's this disconnection between the top and the bottom. There's this disconnection in these backdoor, sidewater political deals that the leaders of our nation have made. Let me remind you, this Taliban that attacked in 2001 is the same Taliban we armed in the 1980s against the Russians. We were their allies. We helped them. And with the help that we gave them, Al-Qaeda rose up and Osama bin Laden rose up with the very weapons we weaponized them with then to fight the Russians. But these folks, they don't learn from their mistakes. They cannot be trusted. You cannot bargain with a terrorist. You cannot bargain with the devil because he's a liar. He's a liar and the father of lies. The fact that they would even for 1 minute negotiate, even for 1 second negotiate, and even getting everyone out. You negotiated a tuck tail and run, okay, for political profiteering. But you made us unsafe, and you've shown the people at the bottom level, you've shown police officers, you've shown border patrol agents, you've shown veterans, you've shown the citizens of this country that you are dividing, that you care nothing about them. This is an elite, totalitarian regime that believes they're smarter than they actually are. And when a lieutenant colonel had the courage to call them out on it, he's in the brig. This should outrage every American tonight. This is Brother Rob Wilson. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. I think this is outrageous. Peace.